Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and we're now looking at the new Tier 10 USSR tank destroyer of 7.5, the Object 268. This footage is courtesy of Humph, and let's take a look at the stats of this beauty. So, immediately let's take a look at its health pool. It's got 1,950 health in Test 2. It has an engine power of 800 brake horsepower and a weight of 50.97 tons, which gives it a fairly healthy horsepower to ton ratio, which is the second best of the Tier 10 tank destroyers, only less than the AMX 50 Foch 155. It has a very good top speed of 48 kilometers an hour, great track traverse at 30. It does not have a turret, but its gun traverse speed is fairly decent. It has 400 meters view range like all the other Tier 10 tank destroyers, with a fairly similar radio at 730 meters. Now its frontal armor is very angled and it's 120. It's very much like an IS-8 armor scheme. Its upper plate is still fairly hard to penetrate with medium caliber guns, but higher caliber guns are going to go straight through this tank most of the time. As with all other Tier 10 tank destroyers apart from the Jagdpanzer E100, its side and rear armor are very weak and could be vulnerable to high caliber guns firing HE. Now it has an amazing rate of fire of 3.53, with the fairly standard 850 alpha damage that the Tier 10 tanks receive, which give it an amazing DPS of 50, which is 25% higher than the Jagdpanzer E100. It has very good penetration with credit ammo of 303mm, which allows it to penetrate any tank in the game frontally with a good shot. And interestingly, it is very accurate with 0.33 accuracy, which means it's the most accurate Tier 10 tank destroyer. This combined with a 2.7 second aim time mean it is an absolute beast of a gun on this tank, which outperforms the T110, E3 and E4, and also outperforms the Jagdpanzer E100 in every respect apart from its alpha damage. So again, thanks to Mr. Humph for sending me the replay of this, which was taken in Test 1. So many of you will see that in the bottom left hand corner that his health is actually 2,000 out of 1,950. That's showing the new health pool in Test 2 and the old health pool in Test 1, which this recording was taken in. And there we can see the power of the 850 alpha gun, which can roll upwards above 1,000 as we saw there. And that's over 50% of the health gone for that T62A. We can see that the gun's very quick to reload, which gave him another shot there, which seemed to penetrate. The rate of fire increase on this over, for example, the T110 E4 is hugely noticeable, and he was easily able to assist in that kill on that E100 Jagdpanzer. So effectively, for all you Object 704 drivers currently, this tank is an upgrade in every respect, with specifically a much better gun and much better track traverse, a much better top speed. We can see that the tank is capable of going very quickly backwards up to 18 kilometers an hour there. And here we can see how quickly it can accelerate and turn going uphill. Up to 35, 40. And then we can see an interesting absorb by the Object 268, which was shot by Mr. Humph there. That looked like that hit the rear of the tank on the side. Maybe it either got absorbed by tracks or by spaced armor. And there we can see another penetrating hit which didn't do any damage. So I think the Object 268 is going to be a bit of a magic tank. It's a lot like the Object 704. A lot of the shots that you think are almost guaranteed to go in can bounce. So it's almost got like a random nature to it rather than a guaranteed nature like the Jagdpanzer E100. And finally finishing the game off, winning an assault on Malinovka and taking down 4 kills in the process. So, Mr. Humph gained 1,400 experience on a regular server and over 71k credits on a regular server, which is a great result. Next we have a replay from Major Jonathan Smith, aka Long Dong Silver on the forums, and he's had a great game in his Object 268, which he wants to share with us, so let's have a look. So there we can see one shell straight through the lower plate of that AMX 50 Foch 155. The speed that this tank is able to relocate is very nice. Up to 36, 37. Here we can see him zooming in on a KV-4. Which he hits for a high roll. And then his rapid reload rate allows him to finish it off with his second shell. So now he has the issue of a T-30 around the corner and a T-54 as well. We can see there that he was using 6th Sense. It's probably a great thing to use on this tank. So he saw the T-35, and so he's making his move to hide behind this wreck that he's just created out of the T-54. Taking advantage of the T-30 looking away from him, he finishes the tank off. Now he's noticed that there's a sneaky bat chat coming up behind him. But the hunter has become the hunted. The bat chat is taken out. So we're just going to fast forward through some of the footage here. Keep an eye out on the speed limit that the Object 268 goes up to. Seems to go between 30 and 35 along flat. Losing some of that speed up the hill. However, it's still able to progress around the map very quickly, as he has literally relocated from one side of the map to the other here to defend the other flank. So the two objects trade blows. Their object got a very high roll off against him. But knowing that he's got the slight edge on rate of fire, as long as he has a rammer and vents, he knows he's going to be able to fire that shell off slightly before the other object will if they fired off exactly the same time. That T-34 has made a big mistake and he's punished ruthlessly. The game has evened up into quite a nice ending. Major John finishes off their artillery in a bit of a standoff there. And he's already managed to rack up a bolter's medal. So the T-30 is able to shoot over the wall. However, with support from the T-30 on the ridge line, Major John was able to finish him off before he went down. So the game ends in a draw, and Major John hit 11 out of 12 shots, giving him a sniper's medal as well as his top gun and gaining the elusive bolter's medal for his efforts. So even though he didn't win, he still managed to get nearly 1,000 experience and over 55,000 credits on the regular server. So what do I think of the Object 268 overall? I think it's a fantastic tank with an amazing gun, brutal DPM, with fairly okay armor, still got that chance to bounce. I think it's a very good tank for someone who favours mobility and firepower over the pure armor value of their tank. It should be able to handle itself very well against other tanks, especially against medium tanks due to its great track traverse, trying to stop them from flanking it. It'll play out very differently to, for example, the Jagdpanzerei 100 in a one-on-one situation, but it's still going to be an absolutely awesome tank, and it should be a real force at tier 10 like all the other tier 10 tanks are that are being introduced in 7.5. So thanks a lot for watching my video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you want to see more 7.5 content, either check out my other videos or think about seeing my Twitch TV account, which has recordings of all the live streams that I did on the 7.5 test server with commentary from the audience. So if this video has been useful to you, please rate it at the bottom, and if you've agreed or disagreed with anything I've said, then feel free to leave a comment. And if you feel so inclined and you've liked this content enough, then think about subscribing so that you can see my future content.